They've met over Zoom, but this is the first time in real life. Yes, you do, because there's 20 people watching live online, so good try. And so to everyone online, welcome. And also we record all of these sessions so you can watch them back, or if there's people who haven't been able to be here, because we heard lots of people last night going, I didn't know about it, that we will be able to send the link and people will be able to watch different sections. So today I am thrilled to be joined by Sharon and Ange. Now, I have a whole bio on them, but to be honest, I much prefer to hear from the people about themselves. So Sharon, tell us about you. Yeah.
Pre-cancer?
You just tell us about you, what you want to...
I'm 60 years old.
That's pretty cool.
I know. I know. I have 4 children. I've been raising children for 40 years, and now that they're all gone, I have cancer, which is pretty shit because I was going to party. But I still do party, I have to say. My BC journey started in 2017. I can't remember my children's birth dates, but I can tell you at 5:36 p.m. on the 17th of November 2017, my life changed. I just got used to becoming a survivor, and which had a lot of difficulties as well. And then I had a cough, and I thought, I've had a COVID injection, maybe it's a residual thing. And it just didn't seem to disappear. So innocently, I went to the doctor, had an x-ray, and they found I had cancer in my spine. I had no pre-warning. I had my 11-year-old granddaughter with me. I had a panic attack in the middle of Fairfield Shopping Centre and found my chemist, and she took me out the back and calmed me down. So for the first year, life was pretty grim. I kind of hid from everybody because I didn't like to say the word metastatic breast cancer or terminal. And in my head, I was terminal, but I soon worked out that you have metastatic, terminals way down the track, and by God, I'm living a life that I didn't think I would ever have in a million years. I've made my world smaller. I concentrate on the people who matter to me. I never say no. I may have been painted naked by an artist in Sydney and walked 2 catwalks in front of 1,000 people and streamed all around the world with 19 other people. And those who knew me in my pre-cancer life knew that that would never happen in 50 million years. But I had the best time of my life. Connection is my word. I decided I would use that word because you need connection to deal with the emotional trauma that you have having metastatic breast cancer. I cope quite well on a daily basis. Grief gets me down quite heavily because when I die, my family grieves me. I grieve every one of them every day of their lives, as well as my own loss. So I decided that was crap, so I needed to reset my mind. And now I say, I get to do this today. I get to sit with KP. Look at that. So thank you, cancer, because I would not have had that opportunity if I hadn't had my diagnosis. So I hate cancer, but it's also given me many, many opportunities which I would never have had. So whatever time I have left, it's a yes to everything. I don't do heights.
Except dickheads.
No dickheads.
No dickheads. No dickhead
I cannot
policy.
cope with people who complain about the most ridiculous things. And I think in the big scheme of things, it doesn't matter how you hang your freaking towels up on the line. Just whack them over there and get out and have fun. Thank you. So my motto is from a lady that has broken my heart by dying. I have my little, what's that called? Lightning bolt.
Lightning bolt, yep.
Which was her symbol for go grab life. So for Nikki, let's go get it, girls.
You'll soon work out that Sharon's just answered every question that we had in her opening. So I'm going to throw the script out. But we're going to deep dive into some of those learnings and lessons that we can all take from you. Now, Ange, your story is slightly different.
Yeah, quite a bit different. My breast cancer was found very early, and it was found 6 months after my youngest daughter had just finished her 3 years of treatment for her acute lymphoblastic leukemia. Missy was diagnosed when she was 9 and in grade 4, and we immediately went to the Queensland Children's Hospital. And I love how Sharon knows the time when she was diagnosed. I can't remember even the date that I was diagnosed, but I know my daughter's diagnosis and everything about her cancer. So we were I was diagnosed with fortunately, a very early breast cancer. 6 weeks after being diagnosed with my cancer, Missy relapsed with a second cancer called myeloid dysplastic, and that's when we knew we'd have to go and have a bone marrow transplant at the Queensland Children's Hospital. We'd already lived there for almost 3 years anyway, so Brisbane is my home. We did Missy's treatment, 70 days in the one room for her bone marrow transplant. On day 30 of her bone marrow transplant, I went to the Mater Hospital, which is literally 100 metres away behind the Queensland Children's Hospital, and had a preventative double mastectomy with rebuild at the same time. That was all organised by my McGrath Foundation nurses and all the incredible nurses at the Queensland Children's Hospital, many of whom had breast cancer too. And the next day, after that 8-hour surgery, I did discharge myself and go back to Missy's sterile bone marrow transplant room where I was surrounded by nurses. My surgeon was just okay with that. Fast forward a few months after we finished Missy's transplant, and unfortunately she was diagnosed with her second cancer. Didn't go away with her bone marrow transplant and mutated into a third cancer, which had a 3-month lifespan. So at 13 in August 2020, which is a very lonely time to die, we lost her. After that, I just had this burning desire to continue with my own surveillance. So I went and had a colonoscopy and an endoscopy, and that's where we found bowel cancer. And I pushed my my gyno team and my colorectal team and my breast cancer team to organise a hysterectomy at the same time, so I didn't have 2 recoveries. And then when the pathology came back from my hysterectomy, there was already a sarcoma growing in my uterus. So I've had 3 cancers with I've been treated for 3 cancers, no chemotherapy, no radiation, all surgically removed. So I am a living, walking advocate for early detection and also genetic screening, as my family has a nasty genetic predisposition.
So it sounds like you really took control of your experience, which we know not everyone feels like empowered to be able to do. What if someone's listening today going, God, I wish I could be that assertive person? What tips or what did you do for yourself that helped you push through the system, do you think? I told you I'd ask you questions you weren't prepared for.
I love that question because when your child is diagnosed with cancer, or when you are diagnosed with cancer, you instantly become the most unqualified medical professional on your team or their team. And there's no way you can know everything. You can't become a doctor in 5 minutes, but you can keep yourself up with as much information as you can to your own capacity at any given point in time. I can't tell you the amount of times that Missy and I caught things out, mistakes that were being made, and we don't blame anyone. Everyone's human. It's a very stressful environment because we were on. We knew things. We knew our routine. We knew what drugs were coming. We knew when we had this drug, this is the outcome that we would have. So we would take all these extra foods or things or be there longer. So just believing that to my own capacity, I could do whatever I needed to be a part of my team. And I know that doesn't work for everyone. Some people just like to let it off to the wind, let the professionals do what they want to do. But knowing people that I know, it's just, for me personally, it just was empowering just to be a part of that team and do whatever I could for myself.
And I'll just stay with you for a second, Angela. How did you kind of I mean, we know the experience of how hard it is to manage loved ones who are well intentioned around us. I can't even imagine with the complexity of everything that was going on for your life. How did you manage all of those family and friends who wanted to help but may not necessarily have been very helpful?
We were from Malanda, and my word is community. We have the most incredible community. At one point, my husband had 3 freezers full of frozen food.
Spag bowl?
And not all of it was nice. We actually started a Facebook page, which is something a lot of pediatric oncology families do to disseminate information, and I found that was good. If you wanted to follow my journey, then you logged on there, and that's where the information went, so I didn't have to keep repeating myself over and over again to certain things. But, I mean, cancer, you just reassess all your relationships with a lot of people, don't you? And, you just cut people off that aren't good for you. To a certain point, there's no need to be nasty or, just and they may come back in because they're not strong enough to help you with your journey. Don't hate them because your best friend, freaks out and can't be that one for you anymore. It's your journey, it's not theirs, and some people just aren't strong enough to handle it.
Sharon, how do you manage the people around you? You said you brought your inner circle in. I did see a video of Sharon's husband last night who gets blamed for everything. And I think John needs a medal.
I mean, that cyclone out there is John. What I have done for myself is I have an eclectic group of friends, and if I put them all in the same room, they wouldn't get along. So I've chosen 3 that I feel complement me venting, and I've created a closed group. I don't want them to fix anything. I don't want them to offer advice. Well, sometimes I'll ask for it, but that's a way of getting my head empty so that I can be more present for my family, and I don't want them to have memories of, oh, that time mum said this, that time. I want them to have me as the person I am. The angry, pissed off person is for my friends. What they do with the information is really their problem. I did start a Facebook group, which was Sharon's Cancer Life, which is now Sharon's, what is it? I don't even know what it is now. Chemo brain. Life story, I think it is. Doesn't matter. Because I seem to identify cancer as my cancer. Oh, when my cancer this. No. So that became a diary more so because my brain needed to clear out, and I found when I wrote it, it was gone. And I wanted the words to come from me, not my family having to be dealing with 20 phone calls a day. So that was the only way I could control that part of my life.
One of our most successful kind of connection campaigns for our members was when we did a campaign called I'm Not Cancer, I Am Me. When I say that to you, what does that mean for you?
It's a relief because cancer's not me. It's given me a lot of things. It's given me a pain in the ass, but it's not me. I am still Sharon. I'm still a mum. I'm still a daughter, an aunt, a nana. So, yeah, that's very important words.
What about for you, Ange? What does that mean for you? I'm not cancer. I am me. Because that time when people are in, in treatment, that everyone's swarming around the cancer and you kind of need an outlet.
Yeah, definitely. It's hard to stay your own true original self. And sometimes I think many of us here probably think you wish people didn't even know you had cancer, so you could just get on and do things what you need to do without sort of being that cancer mum or that cancer lady. So, I think it's important to keep a lot of your own interests and surround yourself with people who can listen but not judge and can sort of shake it off themselves, so you can just be yourself.
We know that one for the people living with early breast cancer, one of their greatest things is the fear of the breast cancer coming back. How do you manage that for for you,
I
given
have
your story?
I have a MRI every year. I have 3 daughters. The genetic predisposition I have is autosomal, so you hand it down to your child. You have a 50% chance of getting it. My dad obviously had it. We've lost 10 immediate family members to cancer in over 3 generations before they're 50 in my family. So my middle daughter has this genetic predisposition as well. So her and I go down to, she goes every 6 months because there's a higher chance of getting cancer as a child with the cancer the gene that we have. But so I go every year, and I only allow myself to worry. I don't like the word worry. Our oncologist never uses the word worry. He's concerned. I'm not worried, I'm concerned. You know, the oncologists talk like that. And because they're so clever. And so I only worry for a couple of days before I have the MRI. I just catch myself thinking negatively or worrying and go, you know what? Haven't got time for that. That really is such a waste of energy, worrying. And it's so easy to say. It takes practice doing, but I just would catch myself, stop worrying, because it may not happen. What if it does happen? But what if it doesn't? I'm just not going to worry at any point. And the whole 4 years we were in treatment with my daughter, I did not believe once that she was going to die until she did. Because I could have spent 4 years worrying, you know, she's going to die, she's going to die, she's going to die, when she couldn't have. So I think it saves a lot of personal angst if you can be on top of yourself and just notice and move on. It takes practice. Yeah. It takes a lot of practice.
From a person who doesn't have those 2 days before but is around a lot of people with breast cancer, from a supporter's perspective, I think one of my pieces of advice for everyone is when you know your scans are coming up, just let the people around you know so that we can also understand what's going on and support you. Lynn Swinburne used to, her scans were always on March 19, and I can tell you that because everyone in the office put March 19 in our diaries secretly under a different meeting request. So we knew that we needed to be very different with Lynn in those days leading up, and it's completely fine. But actually having that conversation and surfacing it and saying to people, anxiety is real. And, you know, there's a whole podcast series with Charlotte Topman on scanxiety, and giving that to family and friends to listen to gives them really good insight. And for you, Sharon, those scans are about progression.
Yes.
About the treatment not holding things at bay but actually moving. So how do you manage it?
My scans are every 12 weeks. And I live with 2 teenage boys, and
lots of support there.
My youngest one is very supportive. He's 6'2" and often just leans on me and says, "Not doing too well, Mum." And I buy cushions. When I'm stressed, I buy cushions. My whole family knows when.
Does anyone own the homewares place around here?
If I buy a new cushion just because it's fashion, all my family come up and say, "Mum, are you okay?" So I just say scans are next week, and there's a mass exit of the room. But for me, I always plan something that I really want or need. It could be an experience. It could be a coffee with someone new. It could be meeting someone. And I make sure it's the week after my scan, so that that gives me something to look forward to, and it's like an excitement build-up. I've yet to do holidays, so that helps. And I have to make sure for about 6 days everything is in my normal routine, because if one thing goes wrong or something, I look for the second and the third, and if it's 3 things gone wrong, don't even come near me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I usually treat myself to something nice.
A cushion.
Possibly.
Oh, yeah.
I have them hidden everywhere. You have
That
no
is
idea.
hilarious.
No one knows how many cushions, and I know when I'm going to die, they're going to discover them in all these cupboards. So I'm going to put names on them for who they belong to in the family.
So let's talk a bit about family. and the kids and talking to kids about life, about your diagnosis and treatment. How do you navigate those conversations?
I sat my whole family down and I said to them I didn't know how to process my news, and it was going to be a big struggle for all of us as a family. I made them aware that I'm comfortable enough that they can come and ask me questions. If I can give an answer, I will. If not, I will find an answer for them. I'm very open with my disease. I'm very open with telling them how I feel and why I feel like that. I cry openly. What was the question?
Your kids and those
I was
conversations. I think.
I was advised very early in the piece when I was first diagnosed not to hide anything from my children because they hear small snippets of whole conversations and make mountains out of molehills, and that's when their mental health goes down. I set it up with the school that they were monitoring any changes in the boys. In fact, I don't think my 17-year-old even knew I had cancer because as long as my mouth goes and he's being told what to do, when to do, how to do it, he just sails through. Now that he's a little bit older, he's very aware of my mortality and he sticks a little bit close to home, and he has started having panic attacks, but we do just sit down and talk about it. Yeah. You have to communicate. It's so important for the children.
What about for you, Ange? How does the family work, the conversations?
To be completely honest, it's just been an entire shit show. Yeah, from so many diagnoses having to, we've got a new cancer now. And my husband just rolls his eyes and he goes, oh my God, what's going on now? We've had lots of mental health issues with our daughters. I'm struggling to cope with everything.
And so is there good support services for them?
There was through the hospital. There was lots of stuff for them through the hospital. Being in Milan is not great. We've engaged with private help to get that. My middle daughter did try to end her life several times after we lost Missy. And it's, being married is a big struggle too. It's been very, very hard in our relationship. Losing a daughter, having cancer, my husband being a stay-at-home dad for almost 4 years with 2 other daughters. It's been really freaking hard, to be honest, just to be blunt. Yeah, and it's only just getting better now, and we've lost Missy 3 years ago.
So because you are, and I was talking before about this whole perception that people put out, right? Yeah. For both of you, like putting that mask on and walking into a room and looking great and sounding fun. Yeah. So how do you refill your cup to be able to actually do that, to come and share your experiences and be that person in a room? Because I feel like you are that person in the room, Ange, that everyone attracts.
And my husband accused me of pretending to be okay. And you know what? I am okay. I still grieve. I'm a very private griever. I don't need to cry in public. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I don't need a big posse of women all hugging me and things like that. I have my chosen friends that I go and see and can vent to at any point in time. But happiness and joy can be held in the same space as grief. And this whole process, helping others, really fills my cup. Yes. I do a lot of things for other people and other parents, and that and gardening. I do a lot of grounding. I do a lot of gardening and looking after my own mental health. It's a form of exercise for me. Yeah. So,
what about you, Sharon? How do you refill your cup?
Use my words. I joined BCNA, and because I couldn't find any help when I needed it in my area, and I didn't even know another person, and now I have a whole group of sisters who are just like me. I can say the word dry vagina and it's not frowned upon.
You wait till Tanya's
I know.
here.
I know. As soon as that come out of my mouth, I thought, I'm in trouble now.
Last night we had to send the kids who were in the pool into the bedrooms back into their rooms because Tanya was talking about dry vaginas.
Yeah. I don't know. I just don't hide anything. I talk about it. I've warned everybody who comes. My diagnosis for MBC was only in February last year, so I still feel I'm still processing.
Yeah.
And I will probably process different parts of it continually because with progression comes a whole, eventually this going to run out of time. So I have no idea what your question was.
No,
again.
you've answered it
Sorry.
perfectly.
Okay.
So Ange, tell me, what are your kind of 3 tips for life now? What do you think you've learned?
I've learned that we all need to take our own health more seriously, and we all need to feed our bodies a whole lot better in general. People are just we've lost our way as a human race, I think, in how we look after ourselves. It's really important. You need to make your own health your top priority, if not for yourself, for your children, so that you are there for them, because that wouldn't be great. And I think just surrounding yourself in good people that get you and don't judge you. And people, I often, look for people that are in completely different fields that I'm in, because I'm perpetually learning. And just to be empathetic. Everyone is going through something. It might not be cancer. It might be something else. And if they're having a bad day and they treat you like shit, just leave that with them. I don't take that on board. I'm like, I'm really sorry you feel that way. And, just be empathy and kindness.
What about you, Sharon? What's the 3 things you've learned?
First thing, as I said before, I never say no. Oh, sorry, I do.
We might need to find the picture of her body painted.
Oh, I have that.
Yeah.
That's my funeral photo.
Oh, okay. Let's not put that up today then. Not today.
Now, experience. As soon as you step outside your comfort zone, that's where the sweetness of life is. I can't emphasize that enough. I've spent all my life people pleasing, staying safe. Don't stand on that, you might fall. I have ice cream for breakfast if I want it because my mother told me I shouldn't do it. I sat there and I tasted it and I thought, in my head I'm going, you dickhead, you can't be doing that. It's before 10 o'clock in the morning. So I test things now because the world doesn't fall apart if you say, no, I'm sorry, I can't help you today. Or, no, I'm sorry, I won't have my grandchild for the 4th day in a row. She's your child. And I just have fun. Wherever I go, I try so hard to just see the fun situation, fun side of things. Even through the shittiest times, you can see something funny in the oncology ward, and just get out there and do it now because I tell you what, living 3 monthly is quite hard.
So please thank Sharon and Ange, who I think have given an extraordinary account. And I think it's important, everyone is going through a different experience and everyone's experience is true to them. And to share some of your lessons is really important. And, maybe take some time to think, what have I learned through this and what am I now putting in place that is making me the person I am today, that's not defined by my cancer but is defined by a new me? Because you've all had to learn you've all dealt with trauma and you're all dealing with trauma, and everyone now is trying to navigate through to a new me. And I think you've both given us, I feel so grateful every time I get to do these interviews and little things I learn from other people's experiences. So thank you for opening up and sharing.
Thank you, KP.
No tissues required. Well
no
done.
tissues. That's impressive.